Hey guys, this is David Wynn with the Mortgage Edge podcast, brought to you by Click and Close Mortgage. Today, I got a very special realtor coming down to you from Austin, Texas, Jackie Huff. Jackie, welcome to the show. What's up, brother?
Hey, how you doing? Thank you for having me.
Well, as we sit here on Friday, April 25th,
25th.
2025.
Yes.
Beautiful weather out there. Market it is what it is, but we're
Yeah.
here to talk about you and what you bring to the good people of Austin. So let's talk about your journey, Jackie. How long have you been a realtor?
So I've been a realtor for about 8 years. Got started well before the pandemic. Really kind of happened, and maybe it was a good time, maybe it was a bad time. I don't, I don't know. It's all perspective, but yeah, I got in, and I've been loving it, so it's been good.
Well, you kind of do what a lot of realtors do. You did this part time, and then you kind of went, and then you realized, hey, you know what? I'm busy. I need to do this full time, right? What were you doing before? What were you doing before you became a realtor?
Well, so that's the thing. When people say like, okay, you were doing it part time, and I always question, okay, what do you mean by part time? Because when I hear part time, it's like you partially do it, you kind of halfway do it, you're not fully accessible and all that. So what I was doing at that time, I was actually a project manager. So my project management, I had all my meetings scheduled in the morning, doing all that for IT. And so, I had all this free time, but I can't even say I was part time because I was still accessible. I'm like,
Yeah.
what was funny about it was I was more accessible than realtors that were supposedly their only job in full time, that I could be reached pretty much anytime. I've always met with my clients. I never missed a meeting. Wherever they wanted to go, I was able to meet them there. And, we got a lot of things accomplished. We got a lot of clients taken care of. And so, it just eventually got to a point where the company I was working for, because of, the market and everything else, they actually started laying off people. So they ended up laying off some people, and I happened to be, this round of layoffs. And when that happened, it was just kind of like, well, because, there's always, when you deal with commission sales, in general,
Yep.
it can be a little scary, right? Because your bills, everything that your household, your livelihood or whatever is dependent on working with other people that trust you to make that purchase with you, right? So going from, a set W-2 salary to commission, strictly commission, can be a little bit scary. But the thing is, for me, the clients I worked with and the kind of the relationships I built with all my clients, it wasn't really even like a huge concern. It was just more so like, great, no more company picnics, and and that was kind of it, right? But yeah, once that happened, it really wasn't even a transition for me. It was just me just doing more of the same thing, right? And it just kind of took off from there. So yeah,
Well, you're thriving, brother.
I'm
I mean,
trying.
since I've looked at your production report, and since you've been in the business, you've kind of increased your production year over year over year. You know,
Yes. It's,
so
and the thing that's funny, I'm sorry, and then to kind of talk about that too, it's kind of funny too, because when I first got in, and the reason I got in, to kind of go back a little bit, the reason I got in was, I bought two homes, and I've kind of seen what was out here, as far as realtors helping. There's some really great realtors out here, but it's just like any industry or anything, right? There's always going to be really great people out there, and there are going to be people that, they're just kind of getting by, right? They're worried, they're chasing the check. And for me, when I got in, it was like, hey, I know what the process is, and the things I need to help people with. So let me take advantage of that. And so, it's never about the check. Even now, it's never about the check. It's always about how many people can I help to get what they need and give them the information. Because when you buy a house, it's a lot. It's a lot that goes into it. Even when we bought our second one, I pretty much handled the majority of it on my own. And at that time, I actually reached out to a friend realtor of mine to say, hey man, I'm buying this house, come get this money. And I never got a call back. So I'm like, how many other people are experiencing that? So for me, it's always been, take care of the people and they'll take care of you. And that's why even after the pandemic, so you saw the decline after the pandemic where people weren't buying because rates were really high and prices were really high, we still increased year after year through that, right? And before that, I started a team, and we've just been doing really, really well, and we're just thankful and blessed for that, to happen. So
I think it has to do with your background a little bit of project management, know how to
yeah.
manage teams, know how to build teams, know how to work a process. You don't get to where you're at without having processes and procedures, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Um,
And that's huge.
yeah, yeah. Well, as a team leader, one thing I do know, Jackie, is you're still producing. You're a producing, you're a producing team leader.
Yes. Yes.
You're out there every single day, hustling and
Yep.
selling houses, buying houses, and doing all that stuff. How is that managing that and managing the team and everything else? Let's talk about that.
Well, it can, it can be a lot because it's not just, um, like for me, and I know there's other teams out there and every team's going to be different about what they do and don't do. Right. So for me, I'm not just a team lead where it's just like, hey, I'm sitting here, I collect money from my teammates, from people part of my team. I'm also helping them through their process and whatever their needs. So for example, um, Chelsea is one of my team members, and she's like one of the first ones that joined the team, aside from myself, of course. But she was one of the first ones. But when she has something going on, it's not like, okay, we'll figure it out. How are you going to deal with this? A lot of times I will go show her clients homes and take care of that. So I do showings for her. I put a lot into helping and supporting my teammates because I look at when I first got in the lack of support that I had to do what I need to do and a lack of direction. And I've joined the big brokerages, where you just another name, another number in the big fast. And you have a lot of people that want to be close to you just in case you really kind of take off, but they don't want to invest anything in you. Where for me, my method is this: if you're serious about real estate, you're serious about helping people, then let's go for it. Like let's go all out. Let's not play around with this. And I, you know, try to be there for every single thing that they need, and probably more than what most anybody else does. But it can be challenging because it's between me taking care of my clients, also helping my teammates when they can't come up short, they can't get done what they need to do, then also managing everything in between to continue to keep the business going. So it can be a lot, and I think, but that's also kind of good because when you get to the point where it's a lot, then it means you need to kind of grow and expand and add other things into it to help you do it better, right?
Yeah. So right now, how many people are on your team, Jackie?
So right now I have three people on my team right now. Of course, Chelsea, she was one of the first people that joined my team. We had some others that joined the team. It didn't quite work out, because there's a and I'm finished answering your question, but like for my team, there's a certain methodology that I have for my team, like how you treat customers, how you treat clients, and how you treat people in general. And so if you don't meet that culture, then you're not going to last long on the team. You got to go, because we're not fly by night. We're not going to lie to clients. We're going to not lie to people, or mislead. So we have to stay on top of it. So we've had a couple people join. Some people want to join, we didn't join. So it's kind of hard to honestly get on the team because you really have to show that you're there to help. But Chelsea was one of the first ones that got on team, and she's been with me for what now? 4 or 5 years, something like that. I think 5 years now, with the team, and we've done really, really well. And then last year we brought on two other agents. One, she's fairly new. She got licensed, and which is funny. She was actually a client of mine when she was looking to buy, and so then eventually she's like, "Hey, I think I want to get in real estate." So she joined, and then semi funny, or I think it's hilarious. One of my realtor that helped me buy the first house is also on my team as well too. So, but yeah, we just work together and try to help as many people as we can.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. So what life experiences shape you to where you are today?
Man, everything. Everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, between my son, my family, my son, he's an adult, he's 26 years old. And, through that, my dad, he probably had, a huge experience for me because when we grew up, and not knocking any of the younger generation, but when I was growing up back in my day, I was out there with my dad during construction. So he worked construction, doing different kind of driveway stuff like that. And so even like during the summer, we would be out there working with him. So it was never like you couldn't just not work. Right. So for me, even when I got to of age, of 16, I would, when I got my first job, I was putting in 12 hours plus a day, working at Astroworld. Just to make the money, because it was like, hey, this I want. There's things I want to do. Hey, I have graduation coming up. I have my class ring, stuff like that. So that kind of instilled in me just the work ethic of, hey, if you whatever you want to achieve, you have to go work for it. Nobody's going to give it to you, right? So for me, when I had my peers, even at high school, where, they're sitting here trying to figure out how to finance a class ring, I'm walking in paying cash for it. And, for me, it made me feel good because I worked hard to be able to achieve that. So I don't have to depend on my parents or anybody else to do what I need to do. And so for me, everywhere I've worked at, I've always tried to do I try to be the best, knowing that you're never always going to be the best, but the idea or the thought of, hey, working to be the best, was kind of my thing. And my dad would always say, hey, if you're going to do anything, try to be the best at it. If you're going to be the best, be a ditch digger, be the best ditch digger you could be, right? So that helped shape a lot of things that I had, and just in life, interactions with different people. I feel like there's not you can learn a lot from a lot of people that are around you, and it may not be anything huge, just little things here and there. And I think, even now I still learn from people, peers, customers, clients, strangers, whatever, new things, how to interact and, how to handle different situations. So I think it really helped me to get to where I'm at now, to deal with a lot of different things that we have to deal with. So.
And you kind of did that into twofold. Because that was my next question was, what was your upbringing like?
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah. I
have,
mean, yeah.
I'm very similar. My dad was in the construction, and
Yep.
we spent our summers working construction,
Yep.
at minimum wage. I
Yeah.
forgot what
Yeah.
minimum wage was back then, but it was
Oh yeah.
minimum wage.
Oh, you
Uh,
got minimum wage. I got no wage. You get to come with me and go home, and we'll have something to eat. That's what I got. So that was it. It was, but and like the thought process for my dad was like, hey, we're a family, like we're part of the community together, so we need to work together. Which it makes sense, right? If
yeah,
you're part of the household, like you got to pitch in where you pitch in, and help out where you can, however that may be, because it's all about the greater good of your community or your people, that you're with, right? And so and I always believe in that. It's always, how can we help each other, right? Now, also, I'm not saying like, hey, everybody should work for free or just for roof, but in the sense of, hey, if this is going to be better for you to do it this way, then let me help you do it that way, right? So yeah, but it was fun times. My mom, she what she did was, she was at an older age when she went back to school. So, what she taught me was like, hey, you're never too old to learn new tricks, right? As far as education and stuff like that. So she ended up getting her master's degree in nursing. And I think she was like in her almost 50s, when she did that, 40s, late 40s, 50s when she did that. Worked at Herman Hospital and all that down in Houston. So, I mean, I felt like the people that are around me, showed me a lot of things that I've taken, and kind of applied to my life and do. Nobody's life is perfect. There's always, things in between. But I think you have to look at what the good is and take that and use that to better yourself. So.
that's awesome, brother. That's awesome. Well, tell me this. You got a thriving real estate business now, growing, and I know you have big plans for it. What keeps you up at night about your business? Anything?
Uh, you know, oh, that's a good question. You throwing me off now. I don't. There's not really. Well, kind of not. I mean, I guess the thing I always think about, in my mind, I feel like I could sell the block. I could sell all of Texas. In my mind, I think like, how do I sell all of Texas and have my name everywhere? But my thing I always think about is there somebody that maybe that really needed my help that I missed? Right? Is there somebody that I wasn't able to reach that they could have been taken care of better because they worked with me or my team versus somebody else? And the reason, and it's not, and I'm not trying to be arrogant or anything like that, but it's just when I meet clients, for example, I have a couple clients that they bought a house, sold a house, and then when they go to buy with me, they're like, oh my God, this experience is way different than what I've ever experienced. Like, you've given me more information. Like, I feel better buying this house or selling this house than I have before, because the realtor or person I worked with before did not give me the information, this kind of information. They just gave the bare minimum or not even that. And so to me, it's concerning because, and then here's the thing, any industry you work at, there's always going to be that. You go to, deal with a doctor, there's going to be one doctor that's going to give you everything you feel comfortable, you're like, great. Then you go to another doctor and then you're not going to feel as comfortable with, right? Anything, a lawyer, police, whatever it may be. And my thing is, I look at, and to me, it just weighs on me because when you're buying a house, it's a lot. It's a huge investment. It's, everybody knows it's what probably the largest, if not the only largest purchase you'll ever make in your life with it. And I can understand the fear of it, and the process and how it can be so overwhelming. And to me, I try to make sure for all my clients that the experience is as easy as possible. Now granted, there's some things that the client has to do on their part to be to make the process work, right? I can do my part, they have to do their part. But those are things I think about at night, like, okay, how can I reach more people, to help more people, to hopefully make their experience better, to put them in a better position where they understand what they're getting into. Because I've had clients where we sit down, we go look at buying a house, and once we start talking about it, like, hey, is this really something that you can do right now? And I had a client here recently where, they it really is not the time for them to buy. And it's like that conversation, like, hey, don't get me wrong, I would love for you to buy right now, but I'm also the type of person, like, don't overextend yourself if you're not able to do this. Like, your finances better than I do. You're the one paying the mortgage. I'm not paying it. I'm gonna visit and ask when supper, what we're having for a snack, and that's it. But I'm not gonna be paying the mortgage, nor as a lender. So you have to figure out, for you and your family, is this the right move to do? And if you're maxed out on credit cards, but you can still afford to buy this, how much more of a strain is that going to be on you versus, hey, let's wait 6 months, get that debt down, get that taken care of, where you could probably get even a better interest rate and get a better deal because you'll be in better position. So for me, it's not about the sale. It's about the person, their family, what works best for them.
I'm glad you brought it up, because as a lender, that's one of the things I talk about all the time. You're either ready to buy or you're not ready to buy. So,
Yeah.
interest rates, the cost of the house, none of that matters in
Yeah.
between.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're gonna grow in equity. Like I tell people all the
Yep.
time, to give you an idea, the housing market has grown, 5 to 10% in the
Mm-hmm.
last probably 6 or 7 years, right? And we expect
Yeah.
it to grow, let's just say, a minimum of 5%. Well, guess what? Even though the interest rates are close to 7% today,
Mm-hmm.
at 5% on a $300,000 house, I believe that's like $12,000 in equity every year over year.
Yeah.
At
Yep.
5%, you're not going to
Yeah.
pay $12,000 in interest rates. That's higher than five. So why
Yeah.
won't you take advantage of that and refinance later? The second
Yeah.
part of that is what you said, the preparedness.
Yeah.
It makes me nervous, as a lender. Just because I can approve you for a certain amount doesn't mean that you can
Yes.
afford it. You know,
Exactly.
you know, your bill is better than anybody. You know what you got to have. You should have some
Yep.
kind of cushion. If you lose your job or something like that,
Yep.
what happens? So that's it's to be honest with you, now is the best time to buy.
Yeah.
You guys are getting concessions almost every single deal. Every
Yeah.
single anybody that's buying, you can almost negotiate some kind of concession in there.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, and go back what you were talking about real quick about the rates and stuff like that. The thing that's funny, and I think we were talking about this earlier before this. There's people that are waiting for the bottom to fall out, right? They're waiting for, like, oh, I'm waiting for it to get to the absolute lowest. Well, my thing is, you're never going to get the absolute lowest with the absolute best interest rate. It's never going to happen. Prices right now are super low. And the thing is, if you don't ask, you won't receive. And the thing is, for me, and this is crazy because you go back to the pandemic, people were paying $100,000, $50,000, all this over, waiving all these crazy things, and not getting any concessions. Even during the pandemic, me and my team, it was me and Chelsea at that time during the pandemic, we were still getting closing costs from sellers during the pandemic. We only had two people. For me, I've only had two people that paid more than what the list price was. And that was just because, hey, this is going to be our forever home, or hey, we understand that. There's only two people. Everybody else, we were able to get them in a home. We really didn't have a huge struggle to get them in a house. We got closing costs. We were able to negotiate all these things. And like for me and my team, we always ask for closing costs. We always ask for concessions for our clients, because ask not, get not, right? So the thing is, we're not afraid to do that to see what we can get. Now, the thing is that on the flip side of that same coin, the seller can also say no, right? So they don't have to give anything. But the thing is, if you don't ask, you'll never know. And it's just figuring out how to navigate that. But I think for buyers right now, yes, you have to figure out what, just because you're proof for 500,000 doesn't mean do you need to spend 500,000, and there's certain areas you go to, like, hey, you want a 5 bedroom house with 3 bathrooms and, a pool in the back. Okay. Yeah. You're probably going to have to spend 500 or maybe more.
Yeah.
But, on the flip side of it too, is this: if we can find you the same house for $300,000, then we're going to find your house for $300,000 to meet what you need, right? And I think that's where some people, way I explain to all my clients is this, especially first time home buyers: hey, if you're in a position where you can afford to get what you want, hey, let's get what you want if that's what you want to do. But for me, like when I bought my first house, is what I needed. I needed a house. I needed this many bedrooms. This is what I needed to have a home for my family. So I got what I needed. Second house, I got what I wanted. We picked out we went and looked at all the different builders. We went and, checked everything out, settled on the builder we wanted, picked out the floor plan, picked out the colors, lot, all that good stuff. And it's a great experience, right? But, but that's when we were in position where we could get what we want and feel comfortable about it, right? Like and I think some people get scared because they feel like they have to make the perfect decision in their first purchase. And it's like, there's not a perfect decision. There's a decision. And it's what's best for you at that time. And you just have to kind of weigh out what that looks like, right? So
That's awesome, brother. Well, that's awesome. Well, man, I could sit here and talk to you all day, but it's Friday, and I know you got to go, and
yeah,
you got weekend to start to prep up and everything because it's going to be
yes.
beautiful. What did what should have we talked about that we did talk about today?
Ooh, what can we talk about that we didn't talk about? Um, I mean, I feel like we covered quite a bit of stuff. I mean, I think the main thing is, or if there's a takeaway from all this, is this: that um, when people are looking for, a real estate professional, a lender, or whatnot, I tell everybody, hey, shop the rates, shop the people, talk to them and find out, do you match? Because I've had people that work with people that they don't get along with, and it's like, why would you want to work with somebody you don't get along with, right? And I'm not saying become besties, but I could tell you that if you go look at our reviews on our the Huff Realty team, Google us, whatever, we have almost a perfect 5-star. Well, we do have a perfect 5-star rating with all our clients. They've given us reviews, right? And we've built relationships with these people. We have a yearly event where most of them come out and, hang out with us or whatnot. And there's a lot of clients that, I sold 8 years ago that I still talk to today, because we have built that kind of relationship. So my thing is, you have to find somebody that's, going to work in your best interest, that you kind of get along with, that's truly trying to work for you, and not like, hey, are you buying this? What are we doing? Blah, 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 blah. That's not going to work. That's not looking out for you. Find somebody that's going to work for you and look out for you. Today is a good day to buy, like you said earlier. That people want to chase the rate and all this other stuff. Prices are low. Rates can always change, but once that price is set, that price is a price. So think back to the pandemic. If you bought before the pandemic, may got something at 300,000. You waited till the rates dropped. Cool, you got a 2.5, but now you're paying $550,000. So prices to me are more important than the rate, especially when you can change that rate by buying it down before you close, or even late at a later time where rates do go down, you can always refinance that later, right? And then in most cases it's a no cost, and you correct me if I'm wrong, David. Sometimes a no
Exactly.
cost where it's all rolled into the loan, so you don't have to bring any money. So I think there's opportunity, and I feel like if people get caught up, the other thing, the last thing I'm gonna say, because I know we got to go, but last thing I'll say is, you can listen to media, social media. You can listen to all these people that are not really per se professionals in the industry, or people that tell you these get quick rich schemes about different things with real estate. That at the end of the day, you have to figure out what's going to work best for you and your family, because that social influencer that, oh, I buy a house and flip it, but never gives you the details, but you have to pay X amount of dollars to go to this class and go for this class or that class. They're not looking out for your family. They're looking out for their bottom line, right? And my thing is this: if you need a house, let's figure out how to get you into a home. And even if it's not today, even if it's a year from now, that's fine. But let's put a plan together today to get there. And that's my whole thing right there. So
That's awesome, brother. Here's the deal, man. If the people in Austin want to find you, and after listening to this podcast, I know they do. How do they find you? How do they get hold of you so you can become their realtor? What's your
find
contact
me
info?
hey, they can find me by any barbecue place. No, I'm joking. I love my Texas barbecue. And I am from Texas, so yeah, love my Texas barbecue. No, they can find me multiple different places. You can find me on Instagram. I have my personal, the barbecue agent, so that's BBQ agent, the barbecue agent. There's also the Huff Realty team Instagram. Also our team website, huffrealtyteam.com. And of course, you just call me directly, 512-635-3347. And shoot me a text, give me a call if I don't answer. Please forgive me, I'm probably with a client or something, or of the gazillion spam calls that everybody gets nowadays, just trying to go through all those. But yeah, those are going to be the best ways to find me, especially if they go to the website or call me directly. Those are going to be pretty good. So, but yeah, I'm just glad.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this live, folks, you saw this go across the lower thirds, all his information. I know this, man. If you're looking for real estate in the Austin area, there's only one man I'd call, and that's Jackie Huff.
There
Also,
you
if you're
go.
an agent looking for a new brokerage, call Jackie. He's always looking, vetting them out. And one thing about his brokerage is this, and I know he gives leads. So,
Yep. Oh yeah.
reach out to him. Well, I'm David Wynn. I'm with the Mortgage Edge podcast. Thanks for being with us today. Catch you next time. Bye, guys.